All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD or Application and Website Development Program and the AWD1100 C# programming class, I've had some students who are struggling in the class, so I'm trying to go back over the important points of the first 5 chapters of the book, and along the way, creating a C# payroll program and in console application and a C# payroll program, Windows Forms application. So far, I've gone over chapters 1 and 2. So this is chapter 3, an introduction to coding, how to add code to a form, more coding skills, running, testing, and debugging a project. Excuse me. And the way that I'm showing this is I'm coming in and I'm literally writing a project. So previously, I came in and I wrote this payroll program, and it's a very simple program. And you can see when I run it, there's no validation in it. So I put in my first name, my last name, my hours worked, let's change it a little, and my hourly rate. And it gives me that information, and it calculates the gross pay by hours worked times hourly rate. And we're not accounting it all for, yet at least, for overtime. So I'm going to create another application here. So I'm going to close what I've got open. And in my solution here, I'm going to right mouse click, choose Add New Project. And again, this time I want it to be a Windows Forms application, C#. So next. And this one I want to be able to call, and I got to remember what I call the other one. I'm sorry. So let me back up here. And let me get out of this. We call it Payroll CH02 Console. Again, this will be a Windows Forms app, and we will call this Payroll 03, and this is a Windows Forms app. Okay, hopefully that name is decent. Payroll 02 Console, Payroll 03, I forgot the CH. So I should be able to come in here and do a name change on this. Let's see if I can. Manage, get, debug. Thought we could go back in here and we could reset the name, because I'm trying to be consistent here. Well, if we go to properties, can we set it there? I'm just going to remove it and redo it. So delete, and it's the Windows one, yeah. So I want Payroll CH03. Payroll CH03 Windows Form. Windows Forms, that's fine. You'll notice that by default, it's not asking me for a new location anymore because it already knows it's going to put it into the same solution where I just was. So give it a second. There it is. Now, if your toolbox here is not showing, so now it's not, you can go to View, Toolbox. It's in here someplace. There's a shortcut also. Also, this is called a pin in the middle. You can hide it, and if you pin it up there, it shows, and it'll stay there. Now, the first thing I like to do, because I'm just a little bit weird this way, I guess, is I don't like this color that's given for the form. So I like to immediately go in to back color and go to custom and give it a different color. So there you go. That's all it was. I'm going to first, I like to rename all of my controls. So I'm going to call this Form Payroll Chapter 03, because that's the chapter I'm going over. All right. And down in the text, so that's the name of the control. The text is what's up here. I'm going to change the text from Form 1 to Chapter 03 Windows Forms Payroll Application. And you can see how it's changed there. All right. Now, to draw my screen, so to speak, I'm going to start out by creating one label right here, and that's going to be my title. And it's going to say payroll application. Now, right now, I can't do much with it other than move it around the screen. But if I come up here to my auto size, which is set to true, and I reset it to false, now I can change what I put in here, and I can change the size of it, etc. So I'm going to make it longer and a little thicker, as you'll see. All right, I like to put a nice title in here, so I'm going to, let's make this even bigger than I would normally. I'm going to make it 20, bold. I like using Arial. There it is, and I'm going to change this, so this is going to now be called label title. All right, and I'm going to call this Chapter 03 Windows Forms Payroll Application. And you'll notice it's actually too wide now. It's down here, but it's just not showing. So if I stretch that out, there it is. All right, that's about right. It looks like it's pretty centered. It's not perfect, but it looks okay. All right, and I can move that down a little. There you go. Now I'm going to copy this. All right, and that's what I'm going to use for all of my labels. So I'm going to have here a label first name, and I will change the text in here to first name. All right, now that's a lot bigger, as you can see, than I need. Plus, it's a bigger font that I want. All right, so I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to change it to about a 16-point font. All right, that looks pretty good to me. All right, there we go. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to copy this and start pasting it in there. Oops. Copy, paste, there we go. So this will be the last name. This will be the hours worked. This will be the hourly rate. This will be the gross pay. Okay, you'll see those in just a moment. So, in fact, let's do it right now. So you've got first name, label first name. This one, it just defaults to label 1, so I want to call this label last name. You cannot have any blank spaces or special characters in form names. At least you shouldn't. I don't think you can. So there's the last name. All right, this will be hours worked. So label hours worked. Now, as we go on in here, I'm not going to take that much time explaining all this stuff as I am right now. Again, it looks like it needs to be a little wider. There we go. This will be hourly rate. And this last one will be gross pay. I like to go back while I'm doing this and check right here on my properties window, check this down arrow and make sure I've renamed everything. So my form's been renamed and all my labels have been renamed. That's good. All right, the other thing I want to do is I took my mouse and I'm lassoing right here. I don't want the title, but I want these other ones, all of these. And I want them all to basically be the same size. All right, I guess I'll have to change this one a little bit. And that's okay, because they'll be fixed in a minute. So there they are. They're all the same size. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. There we go. All right. Plus, the other thing I can do here is I can move these all down just a smidge. There we go. Now, what I want to do is I want to right justify these so they go right to the edge. And how do I do that? I go down to text align and I click right there and it shows pictures. Well, I want it in the middle but on the right, so I choose that one right there. And now they're all right aligned. All right, it's coming to be the way I want it to look. So next I'm going to come in and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different inputs. Those are my labels, so I want to put in 5 text boxes so I can hold those actual values. All right, and I'll move it about to there. That looks about right. This will be called text box first name, and it won't have anything in it, but I do want to change the size and make it the same size as the other ones. So 16 bold and Arial. Click OK. Now it looks pretty good. I also want to immediately, I like to have my stuff centered in here. So under text align, I'm going to go to center. All right, so I've now got that one. So here will be the last name. Here will be the hours worked. Here will be the hourly rate. Here will be the gross pay. Now, I like to line stuff up. I'm a little weird that way. Do you have to do that? Of course not, but it'll look a little nicer, I think, if you do that. So that's it. All right, move that over just a little. That looks pretty good as far as I can tell. Now these, notice I can move these over if I want to. In fact, it might look a little nicer if I nudge these over a little bit, like about like there. All right, and now I'm going to have three different buttons. I'll come back and then I will give these their names because I should have done that first, but that's okay. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to add a single button right there, and I'm going to drag it over and make it about that size. That looks pretty good. So, and then copy it twice. So those will be my calculate, clear, and exit buttons in just a moment. So this was already renamed text box first name. This should be text box last name. This is text box hours worked. This is text box hourly rate. And this is text box gross pay. So you'll notice that I have virtually the same name for my labels and my text boxes, except one is prefaced with label, the other is prefaced with text box. You don't have to do that. It's just a convention I like to follow. And for my buttons, this will be my calculate button. So I'm going to type in here button calculate, and the text on there will be calculate. Now, since I did this first, like this, all right, oh, I just want that to say calculate. And I spelled it wrong. Calculate. There we go. No, calculate. I think that's correct. I've got two choices. I can either do each one separately, or I can do this one, change it, remove the other ones, and copy it over. I'm just going to do them separately. It's okay. So this again will be Arial. This again will be bold. And again, I think that stands out a little bit nicer. All right, so that's my button calculate. This will be my button clear. I will again change it like I changed the other one. So 16 bold, Arial, and change the text in there to clear. And finally, this I will change the text to exit. And I will change the size again to 16 bold, Arial, and the name of it to button exit. All right, now if I check in here, I can see it looks like at least I've renamed everything. All right, this is also a fast way to move from control to control if you want to do that. All right, the next thing I do, again, this is me. You may or may not do it like this, but I come in here and I click right here and I do a Control A to highlight everything. Then I right mouse click and I choose lock control. So my interface is now locked into place. All right, you don't have to do that, but it's just something I've gotten used to doing. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the tab order. All right, now, right now I'll be able to put a value here, 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 and here. I'll click calculate and I'll get a value here. This value really should be read-only. I shouldn't be able to do anything in there because once I put it in hours worked and an hourly rate, I should just get a gross pay. So I'm going to click in here, my text box gross pay. I'm going to go down to the read-only field, and I'm going to set it to true. Now it makes it gray, which I don't like. So I'm going to change the color on that and just make it the same color as I had, but one shade darker. There we go. All right. Now, again, you don't have to do any of that. It's just something I've gotten used to doing. I'm going to do about 4 more things, and then I'm going to write my code. First, I'm going to click on the form right here, and then go to View, Tab Order, and set the order of my tabs. I want them to be this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. So if I start to run the program and I hit, at the beginning of the program, it'll be on first name. If I hit tab, it'll go to last name. If I hit tab again, it'll go to hours worked. If I hit tab again, it'll go to hourly rate. Then I want to go here, then here, then here. And you know what? The rest of these actually don't even matter because you can't tab to this stuff, although you can tab to this. You just can't put anything in it. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll just set these just so they've got a value. All right, and then I want to turn off that numbering scheme, so I do another view, tab order. Just to show you this now, if I run the program, whoops, and I've got to come in here and reset my startup form or project to this one. But if I run my program, you'll notice my tab order's been set, so it's there. Tab, 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 tab. And that's all I can do. Okay, so that's all done. That's good. That's a good start. The next thing that I want to do is I want to set it so that the program starts in the center of the screen. So again, I'm clicking right here. I'm going down to Start Position, and I'm changing it from Windows default location to center screen. So now when I run it, you'll notice it's right in the center of the screen. Finally, I'm going to set what are called my Accept button and my Cancel button. My Accept button will be whatever code I want to have run when the Enter button is clicked, and I want it to be the Calculate. The Cancel button is whatever code I want it to run whenever I hit the Escape key. That'll be the Clear button. So I come up here, I click on my form, I come up here, and I find Accept button. There it is. It says None. If I click the down arrow, I can choose BTN Calculate. And if I go to my Cancel button, it says None. And if I click here, I can go to Clear. Now, to my knowledge, everything is all set for me to start writing code. Okay, and again, I do things maybe a little bit quirky, a little bit different than other people, but I like there to be some symmetry here. So I open up the Calculate, even though I'm not going to write any code yet. Then I open up the Clear, and then I open up the Exit. Okay? Now, I usually end up writing the Exit or the Clear first because they're the easiest. So I'm going to write the Clear button. I want to have 6 things happen when I click the Clear button. I want this field to clear, 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 and I want my cursor to go in there. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So text box first name dot text equals double quote, text box last name dot text equals double quote, text box hours worked dot text equals double quote, text box hourly rate dot text equals double quote, text box gross pay dot text equals double quote, and to get the cursor there, I do a text box first name dot focus. All right, I'm going to line these up because again, I'm a little anal about this, so. All right, and I'm going to put a little prologue here that says, this method is called when the Clear button is clicked. It clears out all text boxes and sets the cursor or focus to the first text box. Okay, let's check it out to see if it works. Always a good idea here to do a file, save all. All right, so the only button that should be operational is the Clear button, but I can put garbage in here and here and in here and in here. I can't put anything in here, but if I click Clear, it cleared them all and it put my focus right back there. So that all worked. Next, let's do the Exit button. All right. Again, I'm going to put a little prologue in here that said this method is called when the Exit button is clicked. It allows the user to end the program if she or he so desires. Now, there's like kind of boilerplate code that I put in for this, but I always forget what it is. So let me jump over quickly because I sent it to the students. Again, if you say, geez, I'd like that, then email me at jpscott@rankin.edu. So let's look and see if I can find it in here. I think it's in this one. I'm just going to check for exit. Come on. Do that. Check for exit. Exit button code. There it is. It's just much easier for me to put this in here now than to take the time to figure out and remember how to write it. All right. So what is this? This is going to bring up what's called a message box that's going to have the text in it. Do you really want to exit the program? All right. So that'll be the text that'll be in the message box. The title will be exit now. I like to make my titles uppercase. By no means do you have to do that. It will have just a yes or no button. If I click yes, it'll exit the program. If I click no, it won't do anything. And the icon for it will be a question mark. All right. And let's see. So if I do click the yes button, it'll exit. This is a normal exit. Now, I'm going to see if I can do something here. Yeah, I know it's going to look a little funky for just a moment, but just please trust me. There. So I'm going to run this. There's my program. I'm going to move that over here. And now notice when I click exit, okay, what do we have here? Exit now. That's this. Do you really want to exit the program? That's this. Message box buttons, yes, no, that's these. Message box that's question for the icon, that's this. If I say no, I stay in the program. If I say yes, the program ends. So now, right now, my clear button is operational. My calculate button is operational. All right? Okay. Now, when I come back in, I want to write my code now for my calculate. You'll notice up on the top here, I no longer need to, I have that using system. I wouldn't need a using system static.system.console like we had before because we're not writing a console app. I can remove these because I'm not using them, or I can leave them. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to put in here, again, oops, not that. I do that all the time for whatever reason. So I'm going to put in here a simple C# payroll Windows Forms application. Okay, and I'm going to try to pattern this after the one I did previously. Okay, so in here in my calculate button, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add the same stuff I did before. I don't need to add a variable for my first name because I already have that. All right, or my last name. But I do need one for my hours worked. All right, I do need one for my hourly rate. And I do need one for my gross pay. Now, I like to always, when I declare my variables, initialize them as well. So 0.0, 0. Point 0. I need the equal sign there. And .0. So just like we did before, I'll put a comment here that says declare and initialize program variables. All right. So again, as I said to you before, there is no validation being done in this program, so it'll be very easy to break this. Later, we'll take this stuff and we'll start putting it into modules, but for now, I'm going to do everything right in here. So I'm going to say hours worked equals convert dot to double text box hours worked dot text hourly rate equals convert dot to double text box hourly rate dot text, and gross pay equals hours worked times hourly rate. All right, so right now I'm just about finished, except I have to say now text box, oops, gross pay dot text equals gross pay dot toString, and I'm going to format it to be currency. Now we're going to take it for a spin in just a second and see if it works. Again, this program in its current form will blow up if I put in something non-numeric for the hours worked or the hourly rate or for both. But let's save this, run the program, and we'll come in here and I'll put in Jeff Scott, 40 hours worked, $10 an hour. Now I can click calculate and it works. I can click clear and it works. So I'm going to put in my wife, and she worked 50 hours and she makes 30. And now instead of clicking the calculate button, I'm going to leave my cursor over here. Since I set the accept button to be the calculate button, if I just hit enter, it runs that way as well. And you'll notice since I formatted this for currency right there that it's got the $ and the comma in there, 0.00. Now, leaving my cursor right here, I've also set my cancel button to the clear button. So if I hit escape, it clears and I'm ready to run this again. So it appears as though everything that's in here works. No and yes, and I've exited the program. So in here, I removed these unnecessary using statements, put in a simple prologue, came in here, and this is my entire calculate routine. So let's put in some comments. This method is run when the calculate button is clicked. It grabs the values from the hours worked and hourly rate text boxes, converts those values to their numeric equivalents, multiplies them, and places the answer in the formatted gross pay text box. That's pretty good, I think. And that's what we're doing. We're declaring our variables, convert hours worked to a double. Again, this is a little overkill here, but I don't think it hurts. Convert hourly rate to a double. Calculate gross pay as hours worked times hourly rate. Put gross pay into its formatted text box. Okay, again, that's a little overkill, but I think you can hopefully see what's going on here. Finally, as it says, this method is called when the clear button is clicked. All right, so I'm clearing out all 5 of the text boxes, and I'm setting the focus to the first text box. And exit, I'm giving the user the opportunity, if she or he desires, to quit the program. So let me do a file, save all, and I'm going to jump back into the textbook. Now, hopefully I didn't miss anything here. All right, if I did, I'll try to go over them with you. Now, C# is an object-oriented programming language. For those of you who took the AWD1100 class, the Web Development Technologies class, last semester or earlier, that JavaScript that we used in there is what I call an object-based language. What that means is JavaScript has object-oriented capabilities, but you can use them or cannot depending on your preference. Virtually everything you do in Java, in C# rather, like Java, is object-oriented. All right. So if you want more, I've already done my lectures on this, so I don't want to take time doing that. This is meant to be talking about in here, talking about the code and showing you the code. All right. So C# is an event-driven programming language. It'll sit there fat and happy if you put a value in until you click a button in this case to make something happen. I showed you how to add code to the form. In here, we had a calculate button. So mine was called button calculate instead of BTN calculate. You should come up with a naming practice that your instructor asks you to come up with and stick to that. The IntelliSense will kick in and it'll try to provide information for you if you want that. Typically, that's a nice thing. I already mentioned the event handlers. Syntax errors are errors in language. If you spell something wrong, if you forget a semicolon, and they go in this error list window that's down here on the bottom. So if I go back to my program, that works, but if I'm gonna purposely put an error in here. So I'm gonna remove right here, I'm gonna remove on the end there, I'm gonna remove that semicolon. And you'll notice that down here then, as soon as I move off, it gives me an error message that says semicolon expected, and I've got a red line here. I can always double click on it and it'll try to bring me to where it thinks the error is. And it's showing me right there. Sometimes the error could be earlier than that. It should never be later than that. Okay? All right. How to code with a readable style. I tried to show you that a little bit as far as lining things up, making it look nicer. You should really strive for something like this, although it's legal to write something like this. It makes it very hard for people to maintain it, be it you or someone else. So as mentioned here, you should use an indentation and spacing. I added plenty of comments. All right, a single line comment is a // It means that for the rest of the line from that place onto the right over is a comment. Starting with a /* and ending with a / allows you to put in a multi-line comment. I've shown you both. The text editor, I didn't do much of anything. The only thing I will mention, kind of an important thing, I guess I could have shown it to you like this as well, is if I come here and let's decide for whatever reason this program isn't working. So I want to take these 3 lines and I want to comment them out. I can manually come in and do // or I can put a / here and a / there, etc. Or I can comment, or I can highlight all of these lines, and I can go up here and almost right underneath where my search bar, little search icon is, I can click there. And that goes and it comments out a lot of lines at once. And the one next to it uncomments them. All right? So just so you knew that. I don't worry about zooming in and out, so I'm not going to play with that one. Code snippets, you can read that yourselves. I like to write as much code as I possibly can. As we get going in here, we will refactor the code. When you refactor the code, you try to make it easier to read, and ideally, you want to make every method do one and only one thing. All right, we'll get into that in just a bit. Fine, the rest of it I think you can read. And finally, if you do want more information, you can hit the F1 key and bring up Visual Studio Help. Since I'm recording this and I am using this right here, TechSmith Camtasia, when I hit F1, it does weird things with Camtasia, so I'm not going to show you that. All right, found that out the hard way. I've already shown you how to run a project. Let's quickly show you the different modes that you can be in here, okay, just so you see this. All right, so that's it for the chapter, but let me quickly run this. So right now, I'm in design mode. The green arrow is showing right there. As soon as I click the green arrow, I'm now in run mode. If I click this square right here, I get out of run mode. All right, so now that, do I want to exit? Yes. Yes. That goes away and this is back. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put a line of code right here, not a line of code, but over here I'm going to click in this gray area called the gutter, and it puts in what's called a breakpoint, which means that my program should stop when I get to this point. So I'm in design mode. I'm now in run mode. All right, I'm going to put in my information, Jeff, Scott, 40, 10, and I'm going to click calculate, but before I do, I want you to watch what happens in the program. Click calculate. Notice my program stopped there, and I get a bunch of information down here. It's already run this, so notice my hours worked is set to 40. But this, my hourly rate, is not yet set. This line of code has not yet run. The program has stopped right there. Okay, so I can come in down here if my program's not working and check things. We'll go over this in a later chapter. I can tell it to continue. It doesn't say run anymore. It now says continue. I can click that, and now it's run. Okay? And as you'd probably guess, clear works, exit works. And to get rid of this, all I do is I click right there. The last thing I want to mention to you is when I run this program, okay, there's different ways that you can run it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my breakpoint right here again. All right. And when I start to run the program, all right, it didn't like that. Okay, and I guess I shouldn't have put that in because it's another problem that we have with TechSmith. So let me just stop right here. And I'm just going to, that went away. That's good. But when you run the program in here, and it's going to stop like it did before. So Jeff, Scott, 40, 10, and I click calculate, and again, it stops right there. If I hit the F11 key and I keep hitting it now, it'll run a line at a time. All right, but it doesn't like that again when I'm in here and I'm inside of TechSmith's Camtasia. So I'm just going to stop right here. And what I'll do is I'll put out a Git repository, all right, and I'll show you where that is when I do the next presentation here. Now that's it for chapters 1, 2, and 3. That's all I have time for today. Okay, they will all be out there in just a bit. What I will do on Monday is I will go through and rewrite this, and I will rewrite it. And I'm not going to do my console program anymore, but I'm going to work with the Windows Forms app, and I will do some stuff for Chapter 4 and some stuff for Chapter 5. I will do that on Monday. Tuesday, I hope to come in and do 6 and 7. I realize that Mr. Gudmestad is doing chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and then he's going back to 6 and 7. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. But other than that, I think we're pretty much going to be kept in lockstep. Again, questions, jpscott@ranken.edu. And again, I will send out have a thing next time showing you on Git. It'll be a repo. My repo, I can make that right now. So let me go out to GitHub. And I know there's other ways of doing this, but I do things, I'm kind of, for lack of better words, very deliberate. So I'm going to do a new repository, and I'm just going to call this AWD1100-payroll. That's what it'll be. I'm going to make it public. I'm going to create the repository, and that's where it'll be, is right here. So if you're interested in seeing this stuff, and of course I will be adding to it all of the time. Make that nice and big. All right. So you will be able to go out to github.com/jpscott/AWD1100-payroll.git. I will have that out there literally in just a couple minutes. Okay. Hopefully you're enjoying this. If you are, let me know. Like it if you want to. I don't care. But, otherwise send me an email. If there's something I'm not going over that you wish I'd go over, send me an email. jpscott@ranken.edu. Thanks.